Okay, for my next project, I'm going to redo my waterer for my quail pen. What I have is, I have an intake afloat for an evaporative cooler, or evap cooler, swamp cooler, whatever. It's similar to the old ones that were in toilets. I don't think they have them anymore, but you can get different kinds. They even have ones for like Keurigs. I used one of those in my pheasant enclosure, but the way that my quail hutch is set up, I don't have enough room internally to do it the way that I did with the pheasants. So what I did was I used a food grade plastic container. You put this in here, the water comes in. As soon as the float goes like that, it stops going, and then it goes out the other side down to the quail. But as you see in the picture, I used a clear one, and even though it's mostly in shade, it developed algae. It was gross. So for this project, you need one of these. And if I remember right, on the Keurig one, the smaller one, I needed the same drill bits. So you need, okay, 1/2-inch drill. This is the outlet where the water goes down to the quail. I don't know how big of a bung I got, but I got this, and then I got this for the hose. And for this, you need a 1 3/8 hole saw. It's a little bit big, but it's better for it to be a little bit big than a little bit too small due to the plastic over here. Because you start drilling into this, I mean, you start screwing anything into this and the hole is too small, it's not like wood. It won't give, it'll break. So you also need Teflon tape for the threads to prevent the quail from getting watered on. You need a 9/16 wrench, a 1/2-inch wrench, channel locks. I swear, these are the duct tape of tools. These are awesome. I use these for everything. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So first you decide on what kind of container you're going to use for your waterer. This goes toward the top. So you have to decide how far up you can go so that this doesn't hit the lid when it fills, and you have plenty of room down here to work and for the hose to come out. So I will do it right about there. As you can see, I'm very precise, and I mark everything and measure. Go really slow with plastic, and you don't have to push hard. That's it. That hole's ready. Scrape off any of the excess plastic that'll mess with your, of course. Okay, you also need a knife. Scrape off any of the plastic that will get in the way of you sealing this and making this watertight. Okay, now that it should be clean enough, now you just slip this in there. And put the nut on. sorry. Teflon tape first, because it will want to leak around this area. I don't know why, it just does. Okay. So it's just a little bit. Up here it doesn't matter if it's too watertight, just because the water level should never ever get that high. So this doesn't matter too much, except for the leaks from the intake. And then you screw this on. And this is where you need the 9/16 wrench. I'm just holding the other side. With my hand instead of getting another larger wrench. You don't really need to wrench this down tight. You just don't want it moving side to side, twisting. Okay. So that's how tight it is. See, that doesn't move at all. And if you do this and it ends up looking like you're not going to have an awful lot of water reserved in here, the reservoir isn't going to be, you can just, with this one, I can just bend this metal up so that more water will be in here. Or you can turn this. Okay, so that's that. Next, decide where you want your outlet to be. Obviously, it can't be, see, this is the nut that goes up, the nut that goes on the back, and because of these, it can't be all the way, you can't do it too low, or these corners will hit the bottom. Oops, you can't see that. Okay. You can't have this really low, like down here. Or when you turn this, the corners will hit the bottom and you won't be able to tighten it. Ask me how I know. So, you want it up just enough so that you will have room to maneuver. So, we'll go right here, and right about there is where I'll use the hole saw. Okay, let's see if I can do all of this on camera. It's right about there. Don't put your hand where the hole saw is going to come through, but you need to support the plastic a little bit. Remember, go slow. It's just plastic, it's not wood, it's not metal. And there it is. And once again, I need to clean up the hole with a knife. But this hole turned out a lot smoother than the drill bit. So I'll be back. Okay, all cleaned up. And as you can see, this is really loose. I hope to God it doesn't leak. But before I even think about putting it in there, wrap the Teflon tape around the threads to make sure that everything seals and you don't have any leaks whatsoever. I usually do it about twice around all the way. Oh, I found it. Rubber gasket goes here. Then this goes in here. And then another gasket slips on there. And then you tighten this up. Look, it even has arrows to show you which way to tighten. Now this one, you will have to tighten like crazy because water is right here. And this is what you'll need the channel locks for, because that's huge. And I don't have a crescent wrench that's that big. So let me tighten this up and then I'll show you how I install it. Okay, so I set it on top of the quail hutch. This goes here. This slips on. That's all it does is slip on here. You don't need anything special. And this right here screws on to the water intake. And I will do all of that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. I forgot to mention Teflon tape around the threads, and this is where you need the 1/2 inch wrench for this. Okay, now to turn on the water supply and see if I have any leaks. So far, I know, horrible camera angle. I don't see any leaks coming out of there. And that's the way it works. The water flows in. And then once it gets to a certain level, it stops. Okay. We'll let it do its thing. And then for the lid, to keep mosquitoes and stuff out, I just use the normal lid that comes with the container, because you need a little bit of airflow so that it will come down through the pipe. And I've never had any problems with the mosquitoes. Just that algae. Oh, and at first, when I first did it, somehow earwigs got in there, and I had to take the whole thing apart and flush them out. I don't know where the heck they came from, the pipe or something. I don't know. But, oh yeah. So, that's going on. And then it goes down to here. Can you see that? Yeah. And these are covered in bird poo, but these are just nipples for sprinklers. And then we got an adapter to make it smaller. Yeah, these are all ABS and PVC pipe, and those, yeah, where the cups go is brass. That's the only thing I could find that was the right size and didn't require ordering from Amazon. But yeah, I got all this stuff at Home Depot. And then I will show you my faucet. This is my faucet. This is a single piece with a hole pre-drilled and threaded that this attaches to. It just screws in there. These are made for evap coolers, swamp coolers, whatever you want to call them. And this is a brass, I can't remember what it's called. It's collapsible. The thread is soft so that it squishes down. And that's the hose going to the quail hutch. I have a splitter down here, right here. It's brass, And this goes over to the pheasants. Okay, so this is my water for the pheasants. I have little nipples instead of the cups. And this bucket is an old chlorine bucket from the water company, which has been thoroughly cleaned like for years. And then this, so you can use any size container and do up something like this instead of my overly complicated one for the quail, and put it inside. Let me tighten this. And put it inside the container, and that would work really well. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you watched, I hope you learned something. I did when I was doing all of this. I learned what to do, what not to do when it comes to working with plastic, when it comes to working with the birds. And that's it. Hope you have a great day.